from the shop at nagulat na lang ako pagpasok ko dito ngayon, walang tao. And then I realized it was a holiday. No, just kidding. I did remember it was a holiday. Usually we're open on holidays, but today we're closed. The way our holiday schedule works is that we ask our staff who wants to work on a holiday and they get bonus pay. So we pay extra. I mean, by law, you're required to pay extra if an employee works on a holiday or on a rest day or a combination of that. But we have a set fee. Kumbaga, parang naka-set na yung how much you'll earn if you work on a holiday, which is much higher than the legally mandated amount. So there's an incentive for people to work on holidays. Since it is set though, it's unfair to people who are earning more. Unfair in the sense that relatively they're not getting as much as somebody who's earning less than them. Yun nga, since fixed amount siya. The amount regardless of what you're making is much higher than the legally required rate. But yung legally required rate kasi percentage yun. Ito, fixed amount. But that's also intentional, or at least I thought that was okay since it incentivizes the junior staff to come in. Just a bit of behind the scenes of Hardware Sugar, there is a lot of, aside from the hardware, aside from the customer facing things that we have to get right, like making sure that the things that we install are compatible, the recommendations we make sense for what the customer needs. There is a lot of HR stuff, which is such a bore. I hate doing HR stuff. We have 24 viewers. What are you guys doing awake at 11 a.m. on a Monday holiday? Sup, Gamer Zone? Oh, maaga. Yun nga, I came in today because I miss doing live from the shop. Actually, schedule ko for live from the shop. It's whenever walang pasok because I find it difficult even to shoot. Like I shoot a lot in the shop, but when customers come in, I'm not. It's very difficult for me to focus on the camera, especially because I work without the script. At the most, there's an outline, and I'm talking to the camera, and it's a little. Di naman ako, I'm not used to having so many people. In fact, I'm not even used to people shooting me, like even just our staff. And then they have a camera in my face and stuff na naiilang ako, na conscious ako. So especially for live from the shop, I try to do it on a holiday. More on that after the break, and more on the announcement you'll want to hear after the break. Sup, Anton? Sup, Rafael Angelo? I don't know if you mean work, work, work for you. I hope not. I hope you're in a holiday. Work, work, work for me. Yes. Work never ends, and it's kind of annoying actually. Like I just wanna. Sup, Raven Jan? After the short break.
Sawa ka na ba sa unactivated Windows mo? Well, lucky you! Pinakabago mula sa cdkeyoffer.com. Windows 10 and Windows 11 activation codes. Legit, safe, at pinakamura. Madali lang umorder.
Hanapin ang Windows version na gusto mo. Piliin ang preferred payment method. Wala pang 5 minutes, nagsiligi ka na para sa Windows mo.
Marami na kaming natulungan.
Dati, sad and depressed ako. But now, I found the love of my life.
Dati, aimless and walang purpose ang life ko. But now, I'm a world-class Zumba instructor.
So, web developer ako and content creator for a YouTube channel. And ngayon, ganun pa rin ako pero activated na yung Windows ko.
Kaya kung naghahanap ka ng legit, mura, at original software,
Check out cdkeyoffer.com.
Check out cdkeyoffer.com.
check out cdkeyoffer.com.
Check out cdkoffer.com. It is true. And sorry, I'm just going through the Gcash number, our shop number. I do miss. Yeah, I do miss. So yun nga, since we do incentivize people to come in on a holiday, it's been very sobrang madalas na lang yung opportunities for me to be alone in the shop and do live from the shop. And I do ang daming I get a little annoyed when I come to the shop and there's no space for me. Actually, it's been like that in all of our shops because our shops we're always outgrowing our shop so quickly. When we moved here to Chino Roses, we thought, wow, it's such a big space, and it's even cheaper per square meter than our old Giho spot. So that's why we could afford it. So bigger and then cheaper per square meter. I thought we wouldn't outgrow it, but we've outgrown it so quickly. And whenever I'm in the shop, there's no space for me. Like there's no desk, there's no. So palagi ako palagi kong kinakapa when I get to the shop. Like just this just like our test bench. I told Russ na Russ, I need a computer to stream later. I mean tomorrow. So I texted him yesterday. And then he's like, "Sir, nabura ko na yung usual. We had an old drive that we just used to jump around wherever." And so we had a standard drive. Thank you for pointing that out, Renan. Oh, nga. Okay, okay. Sorry. Thanks for pointing that out. I was so happy pa naman. It was so easy to do droid cam. But then how do we, pangit. What if we make this, here. Okay, well, I that should still have it. Yeah, because I didn't shut it off. So what was I rambling on about? Yeah, okay. So I had a user account in our usual Windows, which was on a SSD drive that we were using to jump around. Like if you need to test it in a computer or you need it for some other thing, the drive would just jump around. But Russell recently wiped everything, so nawala yung user account ko na yun on that Windows. And then it's been so long since I've been alone in the shop. Nakalimutan ko. I thought I had to jumpstart the Mobo, which is how we used to do it back in the day, when it was just like really the naked motherboard. So I was getting a screwdriver and I was sticking it wherever. Tapos pala, na-realize ko may power button na pala since it is connected to the case. A case, Cooler Master gave us this case a couple of months ago. It's very good for us because it test bench setup, so we can quickly swap out parts for testing and things like that. Um, yeah, so just like it's been so long since I've been at the shop by myself that I don't quite know where things are anymore. And I do feel sad sometimes when I come in na wala akong sariling space just to like so it's easier for me to get up to speed more quickly. Okay, we're gonna be talking a bit more about we're just gonna take a look a bit about the test bench, then we're gonna have the announcement, but let's put the primary on the ZVE10. And you notice I do feel like a legit YouTuber now because we finally have, you know how those YouTubers have the uh, silver plaque in the background. So this is a really janky setup actually. We have this guy set up there in the on the closet with all of our other stuff. But I thought for the live stream, I came in a few weeks ago and yeah, I'm holding it like ano. All right, wait lang. I came in a few weeks ago, sorry, a few days ago, just to pick up something from the shop. So I'm entering through this and I'm like, this whole space is completely different. So they kept the central table, but all of the tables before used to be parallel to the wall, basically. But now everybody's perpendicular. So they're looking onto the customer as they come in. Russell used to be here. That's been cleared out. This water cooler has been the bane of our existence because it was in the corner there before and it kept you kept seeing it in our videos when we would shoot videos. This dual monitor setup of Russ is also different. So he has this one on a horizontal, sorry, on a vertical using a North Bayou mount. I love North Bayou. Actually, I'm using one right now for my own personal setup. Have been using it for a long time. Russ actually does need a vertical mounted monitor. Yeah, I'll go around too so you can appreciate the setup. So you have the usual horizontal here, and then he has a dual setup here because he's the one who handles our communications on certain days. So he's the one who answers via Facebook and things like that. And so that's super useful if you have a vertical monitor for that. I do have one as well because I have to communicate with everybody on the team as well as communicating with customers. And whoop, There we go. This is the very controversial. We'll talk about it later. This is 7950X3D. Um, and the very controversial X670E ROG Crosshair Extreme. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But I wanted to get to the big announcement first and say hi to the chat. I don't know what you guys are doing up at 11 a.m. 11 a.m. on a Monday holiday. I'll reply to your email later, Anton. Actually, thank you for emailing. I was actually gonna reach out, but it's just been. I mean, it's it's not important at all, so it's not priority. Um, just some car stuff. All right, wait, hang on. Let me go through the chat. Yeah, we will get to the announcement shortly. Sup, Reverend Jan. Sup, Domer from Facebook. Hello, Adrian from YouTube. Happy Labor Day, Leah Magnaye. It's even better in a way. We'll get to that. I wish I could see stickers. I'm super interested now in what the emoji of cat orange whistling looks like. I'm gonna have to look it up later. Sup, Rafael James? Enjoy your holiday. Why not, Leah Magnaye? Well, let's get it in first. Let's get in your custom order first, and then we'll see. So that is the downside pala. So I'm going through the no audio now. Yes, thank you. I read on Matthew. So that's the downside pala if I switch video. I mean, I switch to the other camera. Oh, lapit na Saturdays. Very close. But even better than a Labor Day sale announcement. Thank you, Ian from YouTube. To be honest, I've if you watched the live stream I did Saturday, it's really a little bit like we slowed down just this April on content that was specifically addressed for beginners, but we do want to get back on that horse. We just need to take a little time to be honest. I so many things on my plate. It was hard to come up with stuff, but parang I'm thinking of new video ideas. Actually, I want to do a video, and like my lawyer friends probably wouldn't advise me to do this, and my wife was also a lawyer, was actually also against the idea. I want to do a video where it explains where to download videos like your TV shows and things like that, where you can download them. But more specifically, if like what they mean. So you're looking at the Mandalorian S302, and there's a whole bunch of suffixes after that. X265, web rip, me gusta, and things like that. What do all of those things mean? So parang for me, if you're a beginner trying to find, you just want to watch TV shows which are not available here, or they're available but you have to pay, and so that's the whole thing. Like I don't encourage piracy, but I think for as an academic purpose, how to learn BitTorrent, that would be the easiest way to appreciate the technology because BitTorrent is quite amazing actually, even on the internet speeds that we had way back when na sobrang bagal compared to now. Ang galing ng technology ni BitTorrent to fracture the files. And it's not even P2P, so it's not peer-to-peer, person-to-person. It's like it's completely decentralized. And you do want a decentralized file sharing network since it can't be taken down like the previous LimeWire or Napster. So yun nga, parang I've been thinking about this topic a little bit in my head. So, but basically there are two challenges there. One, where do you find it's super easy to download BitTorrent and super easy to get the client to choose a client that is relatively secure and easy to use. But the two challenges are one, figuring out actually where to download the torrents, whatever you want, like the movies or the TV shows. And also two, what the heck do those files mean? Like which file to choose from? Yeah, so obviously there are some like, well, not hardware sugar doesn't promote piracy, but as an academic exercise, and I will try to use files that I actually have access to. So if let's say if you have, I mean for legally you are actually allowed to own copies of the media that you have legal access to. So for example, if it's broadcast TV and you're watching and you record it for your personal use, that's fine. You had a legal right to watch the show. It was came over broadcast TV. You recorded it for your personal use. That's fine. So if I, for example, if I had a legal right to a streaming service, for example, I have Amazon Prime, which I do actually. Long story why I have Amazon Prime, but anyway, we'll do that later. or I can mention it some other it maybe in the video. So I do have a legal right to have copies of the shows that I could get access to on Amazon Prime. So, for example, Mrs. Maisel is the show I need to finish on Amazon Prime. If I download a copy of Mrs. Maisel, I'm probably within my rights to do so because I'm paying for the streaming service. So it's very much akin to like me just getting a copy of the thing that I already have legal rights to. So that's probably how I would do that video. But talking about legal stuff just really isn't fun, and you just want to get into the nitty gritty of like what's a good place to where what's a good place to find a um what's a good place to find TV episodes and movies and things like that, media like that. So that's one of the things that I'm thinking of doing maybe this month or something. I don't know. Provinciano might be like a whole hard drive, but that's also an interesting actually question, like where to find um local TV shows. And I'd have to research that. I haven't come across like a site or repositories that had a consistently good selection of local shows. Sup, Kyle? Thank you for keeping us on in the background. Um, I don't know what the 12400F is now, like the pricing, but I've been seeing kasi prices from our suppliers. Kasi one of the guys in the shop was like, "Sir, let's also stock 12th gen." But actually, the prices between 13th gen and 12th gen at that tier brand new from the suppliers, parang konti lang kasi yung difference eh. So parang I couldn't the value proposition wasn't there for me. I don't know kung nagbago na yung prices. Or if you can get them like from people who already bought it before, then they had to kind of bring down the price. So that it's probably okay if you can get it at a decent price. Sup, Luigi? Sup, Larry Bone? The AS500 Plus, no. Still the same. Although we just recently got it back in stock kasi it was out of stock for a while. If every subscriber gave 1 peso, that would be pretty good, like monthly. Then I could like, heck, I'd quit the shop and then I know. 'Cause to be honest, the shop is really like it's like a lost leader at this point. You're just like pouring money into it, hoping that you're in a tailspin. You're just kind of like hoping it'll like kind of stabilize and kind of shoot up. But it is retail. It takes a long time to get traction in retail. So we're staying the course. We're keeping the faith. But sometimes I do wish like I had extra money that the shop generated more money because basically you got everything the shop earns it just goes back into the shop. It doesn't go to me. And there's a lot of overhead, the rent, the employees, buying the hardware. Buying the stock is super expensive. So we're still at a loss for hardware sugar, but hopefully we're kind of arresting the downward trend and we'll slowly make our way up because it is retail. And actually that's a little bit of what of the announcement that I want to talk about later, which I maybe should talk about soon. iCruise. It is difficult actually to find I mean, I've used my monitor arm is on a 27 incher, so not particularly heavy. I mean, it's a bit bulkier compared to, let's say, like a 24-inch or even like a 19-inch, which are the sort of standard sizes for a secondary. Usually the secondary is smaller than a 27-incher because most people have the 27-incher as a primary. Yeah, but it is a bit difficult to find an arm, and you want to be sure that that arm will hold, right? Because it has your monitor. So I feel you. I agree. Sup, Miguel? Sup, Ochi? Yes, quite significant discount actually. I'll go into the details. I don't know. Fans, if they're not working and you're plugging them incorrectly, you're kind of pretty much out of options. As long as you know that the port or the hub that you're plugging it into works, there's not much to do with the fan. It probably means it's broken. Um, Kasi ang hirap to replace the innards, like if it's a bearing inside or something. Yeah, so that's pretty much if the wire somehow got cut, you might be able to splice it back. But parang relatively parang di naman gano'n ka, um, mahal yung ano, yung fans. Sup, Marky? Sup, Mari? Yes, I hasten to add like the video that we would do about downloading TV shows is purely for academic purposes and for the exploration. For it illustrates just how great the technology BitTorrent is. Hmm. Oh no, we're gonna teach people how to do it. I hate those videos that aren't really very helpful because they're like, oh, this is great, and it doesn't tell you how to do it. So I if you're just trying to get into BitTorrent and you're wondering what the heck is all of this, parang it would be very helpful if you, yeah, if the video goes into like where how do you download the software, and then once you have the software, you need to find sites where you can find the video files from. So we're gonna go into that. The usual disclaimer na this is for academic purposes, this is for education purposes because BitTorrent does have educational uses. There are a lot of files that you can access through BitTorrent that are copyright free, that don't have the legal entanglements um, that are associated with most of the files that you get on BitTorrent. But just because something can be used illegally doesn't mean that you can't talk about it. Um, and that's one of the things I find annoying is like when there's a chilling effect, like, oh, I don't want to touch that topic, um, because people might get the wrong idea or might attract the wrong attention. But the topic is legitimate. I mean, BitTorrent is it's such an old technology actually, but it works so well. I remember back in the day on like dial-ups pa lang, wala pang mga fiber and stuff. BitTorrent was quite awesome. Sabi niyo I should buy GPU na pinakamaganda na I can afford. I agree. Probably the one who gave that advice. Old CPU AM3, is it okay to get highest end GPU pero CPU ko AM3 lang, wala bang masama? No, as I mentioned, you can have a super fast GPU and pair it with a with a super slow CPU. There will be no damage. Kahit vice versa. Sobrang bilis ng CPU, sobrang bagal ng GPU. One will not damage the other. For gaming, you do want a fast GPU. Yun nga, it's not ideal. May bottleneck, but for gaming, you only have the budget to upgrade one component. Just get the best GPU that you can at the budget point that you have. Yun nga, hindi talaga siya ideal situation. So kalimutan mo na yung bottleneck. I mean, you might lose 10%. I mean, 10% on a with bottleneck. So I think quite high already. I mean, yun nga, a lot of people get fixated over bottleneck because it's a way for techie people to feel like they know something. Like, oh, gumagawin yan kasi bottleneck. But realistically, real world scenarios, the best way to improve your gaming would be to get a better GPU. Yes, you might have a performance hit, but just a very slight performance hit relative to the performance gains that you get with getting a better GPU. In the ideal world, you could upgrade your CPU also, but we're dealing with limitations. The thing about bottleneck is it's in the ideal world, yung pinaka efficient, but there are always inefficiencies in the real world. um, just on the level of computers, not just even the GPU and CPU, but the wattage that your PSU, okay, point to the PSU, that your PSU draws from the outlet is larger than the wattage it can provide because there is an inefficiency. Hindi siya 100%. If you're pulling 600 watts from your wall outlet, ano yung nabibigay sa'yo is to the computer is only, let's say, 520 watts or something, because there is some energy lost to heat and probably not light, but yeah, heat would be the main source of the inefficiency, or the heat the inefficiency is expressed as heat. So ang daming stuff that's inefficient about the computer. Bottleneck is just one of those things that you can probably live with but has become overhyped. Yes, in an ideal system, walang bottleneck or very slight lang yung bottleneck. But we're dealing with real world limitations. I saw a great review from Digital Foundry. Yes. This is the problem when I go on live stream. Like I have a topic in mind, then I just get derailed. um okay, 24 minutes. I don't need to play the ad again. So going back quite quickly to inefficiencies in general. I had there's a good review of Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Kakalabas lang na game pero everybody hates it for PC kasi sobrang inefficient niya. Kahit naka 4090 ka na 3900K or 12900K, bonkers specs, nagsa-stutter pa rin siya whether it's from the shader loading or it's just really unoptimized for the PC. And it's so poorly optimized. It's not even taking advantage of the GPU. Yung GPU utilization rate niya, it's like at 30-35%. And you're like, I bought a freaking 4090. I wish I could show a 4090, but we don't have any on hand at the moment. Although we do have a 4070 over there. We'll talk about that in a bit. I bought, I'm thinking I bought a 4090. I should be able to play any darn game on the planet and it should be like 120 FPS at 2K man lang. I mean, di ba? Para, or kahit 4K 80 FPS, 100 FPS. It's a freaking 4090. But this game, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, which I actually want to play, but I'm gonna wait for it on discount because I bought the original. That's part two. There was part one a couple of years ago. I bought it at full price and I felt like a fool because I like a year couple of, like December comes around tas naka-discount naman. So I can wait for Survivor to go on discount or free on Epic Games because Epic Games does that quite a lot. Thank you, Epic Games. So the review of Digital Foundry was like, um, and I even commented. I very rarely comment on YouTube videos, but I commented on that one. He has a statement around the 7 minute 14 second mark na hardware, any kind of hardware, rationally does not mean that you can run automatically mean that you can run X game at X resolution at X speed. So ang daming variables. I get super it's a little frustrating when customers come to us and I want to play this game at at this speed at this res. What do I need? And you have to kind of explain that we're gonna recommend something, but hindi siya automatically that you can expect that. It's kind of like unless we actually played the game on those specs and there are so many permutations of possible computer hardware, it would be very difficult for us to actually do that, then we really can't 100% guarantee that you can get those specs. And yung future proofing, isa pa yun, that really gets me. Like, I want a bit future proof. Bumili ka nga na I mean, you can't get any more future proof than a 4090, right, for gaming. But then this game comes around, which was developed for console. Thanks so much, console guys. It was terrible PC port, and it's utilizing 30% of a 4090. You have the hardware, your hardware wants to run, but the code just doesn't let it run or utilize it efficiently. So, yeah, yung bottleneck, future proofing, I want to play this game at these settings, what do I need? All of those questions are quite tricky. It's not a simple yes or no. Like, okay, for sure, like you get this for sure. Although yun nga, even in the Digital Foundry review, they're like, well, it's a 4090. It's ridiculous that it can't even pump it out at these refresh rates. But just having like an absolute thing that this setup is 100% future proof all the time, hindi yun kasalanan ng hardware. Software plays a big role in determining how well your hardware runs that particular piece of software. We're reviewing now the A750 from Intel. Our Thank you to our longtime customer who custom ordered it from us, and then he allowed us. He actually offered, hey, do you want to review it? And of course, walang hiya yung like yung staff namin walang hiya talaga. I'm gonna say it. Like I'm their boss. I don't know where they get it from. They don't get it from me. But the customer was like, hey, do you wanna kayo na magbukas and do you wanna use it for a video, like benchmark it? And so our staff jumped on it. I wasn't monitoring that conversation. I only saw it a few days later. They were like, hell yes. Thank you. Like wala nang hiya-hiya talaga. Although I mean, this customer to be honest has been buying from us for such a long time. We're in constant communication with him. In a way, we're friends. Like I visited him at his house, like literally. This was not like in a Metro Manila location. It's like way outside of Metro Manila. Um, so in a way, we're friends. And some people might be turned off by that familiarity, but we approach this job, this whole shop, like as enthusiasts first and foremost. Like we really like computer hardware, and we're just kind of geeking out. And if you get, I mean, a lot of people in the stream know this because they come in and we treat them like friends. It's like first name basis, and it's very unprofessional in that sense. But in another sense, that's the kind of shop that we want to have. That you want to. It's like Cheers. If you watch the old '80s series Cheers, and then the opening song is na someone a place where everyone knows your name. It's kind of like that. It's kind of like we're a bar but without the alcohol. Although that's another thing I want to bring up with this with the staff. If you go around, if you go around the shop, you notice a lot of alcohol bottles. For instance, okay, let me. Okay, oh wait, officially the I know has gone off the rails now. It's like, what are we doing? Oh wait, it's cinematic, cinema, and then I have to, not that. Okay, wait lang. What setting did I have it on before? That wasn't it, but anyway, you know how many alcohol bottles you have here? All right, so these are empty jars, which I think had alcohol in them before, but okay. Oh, here. Thank you, Don Papa, for sponsoring our. Was that the 60K sub video? That was a super fun video to do. I reacted to mean comments while drinking Don Papa. So in real time, at least in real time during the video, you can see me getting a bit plastered. I mean, Don Papa I had not eaten. That was actually on my birthday, 2 years ago, I think. And yeah, that was a super fun video to make. I don't know if I could make it anymore because people are so bit sensitive now on YouTube. And if you've been following us for like the past month, there's a post na ano. Anyway, pretty sure that's alcohol. Yes, there are a lot. Oh, here. I don't know Gerald's table. like like this is not the box. When I lift it, there is a bottle inside here. Yeah. So and then like every table has these things. It's like they're just waiting for it's just waiting for the shop time to end, like the work time to end, so they can open their mugs and start drinking. So as the proprietor, it's not very this is not very like if you were kind of a stick in the mud, kind of like very proper kind of person, and you come into the shop, you're like, what the hell are all of these hard liquor remnants? And I have been trying to like once a month. We do hang out in the shop, like just literally hang out. We have inuman and stuff like just me and the staff. So, but yun nga, I don't know. Yeah, coffee laced with something. So yun nga, but I have been thinking that maybe standards have become a bit loose. But at the same time, yun nga, we don't have a pantry na private na we could store everything there. So I'm kind of on the fence. But since Rocky the programmer is here in chat, I do want to mention that if there are any kids watching, please close your eyes. Um, so somebody from the staff likes to scatter these Easter eggs around the shop. And while that's good for office morale, like if I were a customer, I might be a little like, especially if I were a female customer. And like if I had kids over and stuff. So yeah, so those things. I don't know if I need to tighten up on that. And I also noticed like when we're very comfortable with some customers, even if you just come in and a lot of customers like that. But sometimes like um swear words are used very casually. And I don't know why I'm sounding like a school marm or something, but maybe we should. I hear you, Luigi. I hear you. That's actually not a good. I mean, the thing I just showed, it's not a good surge protector because when the pressure builds up, you need to release the surge. Okay, enough with the green jokes. So I sometimes like I'm on the fence about it because I do like this very relaxed atmosphere. But if certain customers do come in, they might be offended with the generous amount of profanity that sometimes gets used um in the shop. And it's like yeah, the text could be talking to each other, but the problem is it's just like this one big room, so customers can hear it, and it's not offensive in the sense that the language used between people is a very jocular kind of um, friendly language. But at the same time, if you're an outsider coming to the space, it might be off-putting or I mean, I went to an all guys school, okay, my entire life. So I went to the same school all my life. Grade school and high school at that time were all guys, and then college, thank you Jesus, it became co-ed. And the thank you Jesus is deliberate. In high school, when we were contemplating college, we would describe it as the land of milk and honey, which, if you're familiar, that's a reference to the Old Testament. And you can kind of see the education where I was brought up in that. When we would when we would talk about the possibility of like even having a female seatmate, it's like a co-ed environment. It would be, we would talk about it like the land of milk and honey, reference to the Old Testament. Not to say that, wow, this is like super off the rails. Like, I love how just this, I haven't, like, 35 minutes in, I haven't done the announcement yet. I haven't gone around the shop yet, except to comment on like the alcohol stuff laced around the shop. But sorry, just one last about the Bible. Actually, it's a very sensual book, especially the Old Testament. If you read the book of Songs, some of the Psalms, I mean the book of Songs talk about like how the writer ha- is a female point of view, and she has a lover, and the lover is like a stag, like a deer. He's muscular. The way the description of David and his basically his harem. I don't know if I can say that. Some religious viewers might get offended. But the Old Testament in particular is very sensual, which doesn't get translated now when we talk about it, like the priests when they talk about it in church and things like that. Um, I'm not gonna go super into depth about that, but just to kind of give background that our use of land of milk and honey for the co-ed environment is very much in keeping with the language of the Old Testament. I mean, this is the series of books where people are obsessed with having enough descendants to your descendants will be more numerous than the sand in the sea or the stars in the sky. How do you think you get those many descendants, guys? It's not by being celibate, okay? So to be fair to our high school selves, our description of a co-ed environment as a land of milk and honey, I think the patriarchs of the Old Testament would smile at that and then cuff us on the head. Yes, it is a bit of a tangent, but I do miss this. See, I can't like I would be kind of bashful to talk about this in front of like customers and things like that. But since I'm alone at the shop, here we are, live from the shop. Sige. Um, yeah, yeah, Rabbi Jan, we'll have Bible quotes now, but the Bible quotes we'll be having are not the yung tipong I am the way, the truth, and the life, and I am and all of that other stuff. But it'll be Old Testament stuff. Like although yeah, to be honest, one of my favorite Bible quotes is from oh man, I can't remember if it's from the Old Testament or the New. But seriously joking aside, one of my favorite Bible quotes. It's not one of the famous Bible quotes, and to be I'm tired. Aren't you tired of just always saying John 3:16 or whatever? I mean, it's always about redemption and whatnot. But one of my favorite Bible quotes, I can't even remember where it's from. Ah, well, sorry. Okay, I have two. Mm, yeah, didn't know I was super religious, did you? I wouldn't say I'm very religious, but I'm interested in religion, not just the Catholic religion, which where I was brought up in, and that's what I do practice, but all religions, all these different faiths and belief systems. I'm super fascinated by everything. One of my favorite Bible quotes is a very cliche one. It's from John. Sorry, John. It's from Paul, the letter of Saint Paul to the Romans or the Corinthians, I think. And then it's very famous. It goes, "In the end, three things last: faith, hope, and love. And the greatest of these is love." Although the Latin translation is caritas, literally love caritas was translated to love, but perhaps a more specific one is charity. And I love that quote not because of that particular quote per se, which is often used in weddings, but I love it because there's a French writer. He died in World War One. His name was Marcel or Charles Peguy. I can't remember. I'm not sure about the first name, but the last name is Peguy. Peguy. And then because that quote, in the end, three things last: faith, hope, and love. Those are the three cardinal virtues. If you take up theology, there are three cardinal virtues. It's faith, hope, and love. But Peggy reworks the quote, and he instead of caritas or love being the central virtue, his quote is, "The faith that God loves most is hope." So you still have faith, hope, and love, but he 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 reworks them to emphasize that it's not love, it's hope. And I think that that's just so beautiful. Oh my God, we've become like a Bible sharing thing at 11:30 in the morning. But what I love about the Piggy reworking is that isn't that what we're all isn't hope really what drives us? It's not like yes, you can say like love your neighbor as yourself, love everyone, that the kind of kenosis or self-emptying that that truly selfless love entails. But really at the end of the day, isn't what we're when you believe in something higher, that belief is really a hope that there's something better, that this worldly existence isn't the end, and the hope that you are worthy of that higher life, that we all make mistakes, we all stumble, but we hope at the end of the day you have friends to pick you up, you have a higher deity picking you up and telling you that's okay. You might have been a shit person, but you can do better. The basis of redemption is hope, that you know you're not worthy. No one is worthy of redemption, of heaven or whatever higher plane that you aspire to, because we all do shitty things, from the saints to the worst sinners, whether you've killed somebody, whether you've um not killed someone, but killed them in your heart. I mean, you can get very figurative about it. But at the end of the day, none of us are worthy. But you're hoping for the mercy of God. God is not just, God is merciful. And you're hoping for God's mercy. That's why, yeah, that's one of my favorite quotes. Not so much for how St. Paul did it, but because Charles Piggy, I think it's Charles Piggy, reworked it. And the faith that God loves most is hope. Ganda, ganda. If you didn't know by now, I took up literature in college. In the land of milk and honey, I took up literature, and that bleeds into a lot of these um, kind of random stream of consciousness live streams that I do. Sorry. um, Papalitan ng mga alcohol bottles. Like, I know, right? With motivational religious quotes. Magulat ka na lang, like the shop is plastered like with religious quotes. And actually, but to be honest, if you know me, I'm not that kind of guy. I'm very, I don't like being showy about my faith. And I don't like, mixing business with like, because you might not be Catholic, right? And I'm happy to sell it to you. I'm happy to respect your belief system. You might be Christian, you might be agnostic, you might be Hindu, Muslim. I really don't care. I will sell you stuff, and I won't preach to you, because I don't think that's proper in a very public space. Now, for example, if you're tuning into my live stream, where it can be a bit, the expectation that you won't be the expectation is I can talk about anything I want. But even the way I talk about religion, I hope it's not proselytizing. That I'm saying that the Catholic faith is the only way to get to whatever higher plane you want to get to, and I am super not saying that. Believe me, I am very I'm very Unitarian. There's a subsect, the subspecies of subspecies might be offensive. There's a sect of Christianity, a branch of Christianity that is Unitarian. Basically believes that kanya-kanya beliefs lang yan, and they're all equally valid. I'm not saying that if you practice cannibalism, maybe you might need to tone that particular portion down. But I'm very open to belief systems, and I don't. Hello, sorry. Like I was in mid talking about Unitarianism and whatnot, and then the connection crapped out. Thanks so much, PLDT. But it seems to have been restored now. Tas mukhang na-restore naman, since I still have the same number of viewers basically. I mean, if it shut down and then started up again, like that would be a completely different stream, so hindi mag-crossover. But yeah, so sorry. I just want to emphasize that I'm not proselytizing. I'm not preaching. I'm very open to one of the metaphors I think of C.S. Lewis was that religion is like a map. You're in the desert. You need to get out of the desert. If a particular faith, a particular faith can be a map that might be the most useful way for you, but you need to choose which map is best for you. And so in that metaphor, it's like which faith or which belief system is most helpful for you to get where you need to go. Kelly the game, I actually converge ako sa bahay. It was it was but it was hard to get converged here in the building, so we had to stay with PLDT. I hate PLDT, and we're gonna go through that in a little bit. Like that could be an entirety like whole stream why I hate PLDT. But anyway, okay. So I think we're okay now for my tangents. Let me just play the play the video again, then we'll get to the big announcement.
Sawa ka na ba sa unactivated Windows mo? Well, lucky you! Pinakabago mula sa cdkeyoffer.com. Windows 10 and Windows 11 activation codes. Legit, safe, at pinakamura. Madali lang umorder.
Hanapin ang Windows version na gusto mo. Piliin ang preferred payment method. Wala pang 5 minutes, nagsiligi ka na para sa Windows mo.
Marami na kaming natulungan.
Dati, sad and depressed ako. But now, I found the love of my life.
Dati, aimless and walang purpose ang life ko. But now, I'm a world-class Zumba instructor.
So, web developer ako and content creator for a YouTube channel. And ngayon, ganun pa rin ako pero activated na yung Windows ko.
Kaya kung naghahanap ka ng legit, mura, at original software,
Check out cdkeyoffer.com.
Check out cdkeyoffer.com.
Check out cdkeyoffer.com. I was looking at Ross's vertical monitor during the break, and then I was like, dami stickers na puro mga food ah. So like you can see where Ross's interests lie: hardware and food. All right, so I think we've talked about auxiliary things enough. So 47 minutes in, we'll finally talk about the announcement you'll want to hear. Here at Hardware Sugar, we're not a big believer in discounts. I feel that it's kind of counterproductive for the shop where if you have a lot of discounts all of the time, you're kind of trading the customer just to wait. Hindi na lang muna bibili. I will just wait until Hardware Sugar goes on sale. We actually experimented with the format periodically before na every Steam sale magkaka-discount. But we didn't continue that anymore as we got bigger and we got higher volume. There were logistical concerns behind it. To change to drop all of our prices was quite difficult, especially the more inventory that we got. And also, yun nga, parang I thought that if we did it periodically, parang tinitrain mo yung customer na maghintay na lang. Because that's exactly what happens with Steam and Epic Games. Like, I never buy Steam games full price anymore. Um, because I'm waiting for the Steam discount. And I have time. Yun nga, I have time to burn because I'm doing so many things. I don't really have a lot of time for games. Especially if it's Death Stranding, it takes me 3 months to finish the effing game, and like the endings are like there's so many multiple endings to Death Stranding. It's like Return of the King. But anyway, so yun nga, as a customer, I've been conditioned to wait for the discounts of Steam and of Epic. And as the business, you don't really want that, right? You want the customers paying you don't want the customers to be waiting. On the other hand, uh, one thing I think that trumps one of our principles that trumps everything else here at Hardware Sugar is that we love to experiment, whether that's with the hardware, whether that's the physical layout of the shop, whether it's in the way we deliver, whether it's our website. We love to kind of I don't know if this idea will work, so let's try it out. And that's the beauty of a small business, especially one run by a crazy person who like, okay, let's do it. And like you see us giving rebates where other shops wouldn't give rebates. You have crazy ideas like, oh, your part is broken, send it back to us. Do you need the original packaging? Heck no. Yeah, we're the only shop I know in the entire country that you bought it from us. Sometimes you don't even need the receipt because we have you on file. We had one guy who sold he bought an AIO from us, he sold it to somebody, who sold it to somebody, who came back to us for the warranty. Like three persons downstream na from the actual customer who bought it from us. You know what we did? We accepted the warranty. Any other shop would have been like, hindi, you know, hindi ka namin customer, um, sorry na lang. But we're like, yeah, sure, no problem. So we do a lot of crazy things. Because we want to see if that's good for the customer, and we want yeah, we want to be the kind of shop who doesn't make it hard for the customer. And we do a lot of industry breaking practices. There's the industry standard, there's hardware sugar. um Fortunately, I'm not drunk enough to go on a different tangent. But I will say that I do get amused when I get comments like, you have a lot to learn about customer service. um I guess so. I have a lot to learn about making life hard for the customer, because everything we do at Hardware Sugar revolves around the philosophy of making it easier for the consumer. Um, you might notice I'm still on a little bit of a tilt. I should get rid of that. Nobody likes sour graping, so we'll get rid of that tilt. I'll leave it at that. But anyway, we do like experimenting, and so starting May 2, and this is the big announcement, we are gonna drop like a rock the prices of the three primary things that you usually get from us: GPUs, of course, CPUs, and motherboards. We're gonna drop them so close to the value we buy them from the dealer. The price that we're gonna set them at is gonna be so close to the value of the dealer that we moneyed out, that basically it's super the markup is super minimal. Like if you factor in everything, it might even be at a loss. Factor in because we need to make a profit to pay that guy who sits there, and that guy, and that lady, pointing to Jonas. Okay, just to so we can make the point. Cost of goods is not just the cost of goods, like the actual cost of goods, because we need to pay for this space, this whole space in Chino Roses. We need to pay that guy, and that guy, and that guy, and that guy. And you know what? This guy on the camera has not been getting paid. Um, so the cost of goods isn't just the cost of the hardware. We have overhead, but we're gonna be dropping it down. There will be a markup, but the markup is so low that if you do the math, it probably won't meet our overhead. Why are we gonna do this? One, I just want to experiment nga. Will the volume of sales pick up? We do have a respectable amount of volume, but definitely not the same amount as the larger stores. I think we do punch above our weight, but we're still very much a small store. Tsaka kung mabilis naman yung pagbenta, let's say na 4070, then I can buy it again, 'di ba? And I just want to see at the end of and I mentioned at the end of the month, because this will run May 2 onwards. So May 2 to the end of May. The entire May, the GPUs, CPUs, and mobiles will be heavily, heavily discounted. Yun nga, we're basically going to be selling them, I think, at a loss. The other prices, the other items on hand will be the same markup pa rin, and custom orders will still be the same. So it's very tricky for us, again, to go back to kind of the logistics of this, and why we don't have regular discounts. Because a lot of our customers, since they do feel close to us, complain na, "Uy, ba't naman ganyan? Bumili ako sa'yo kahapon, today naka-discount ka na." And that wouldn't be a problem with other shops, because the other shops don't give a darn. You know, they're like, "Eh, ganun na buhay, 'di ba? Parang we're allowed to change our prices whenever we feel we want to," and that's true. But on the other hand, because we do have such a close connection with the customers, we would get complaints na, hey, you know, even customers who aren't close to us. I remember getting one complaint like, "You just dropped the price, and I want to get the different price," and this is completely like, this blew my mind. It's as the store, we can change our prices. And this is why I find those disclaimers that prices and availability, may disclaimer pang ganun. Bakit pa kailangan ng ganun? It's completely understood already. But we had this one guy, a long time ago, who complained that he wanted the lower price. And I'm like, if you want the lower price, but then that also means you're assuming the responsibility that if we suddenly raise the price, then you would pay for it. Because you're asking us to take the assumption, you're asking us to change the terms of sale to have an elasticity of prices. And that elasticity shouldn't just be lower, it should also be higher to be fair to both parties. And he's of course, and then of course he's like, heck no, I wouldn't accept the elasticity of prices if it meant going up. And I'm like, well, there you go. Why do you expect the shop to accept an elasticity of price, a price drop, but you, the other party, won't accept the elasticity of price going higher? And he's like, of course I wouldn't do that, blah 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 blah. And I just wanted, like, I mean, come on, man. Do you even hear yourself? Like, you want the price drop, but you don't want the possibility of a price increase. That's why we didn't impose on you the benefit of the price drop, because we also wouldn't run after you if suddenly we had to raise the prices for that part. Basically, the sale is consummated and perfected, and all of the terms are there at the point of the sale. Um, and I don't know why I had to explain it pa. Tapos siya pa yung nagalit. And it's like, um, yeah, so for hardware sugar, it does become a bit of a thing if we suddenly drop our prices. But it, I was looking at the sales, and this is why, Russell, if you're watching, why I asked kamusta yung sales natin. We don't have anything pending. Um, and it seems like a good idea. So timing wise, it seems like a good idea to have this particular discount. And since I do want to gather some data on it, it'll be for the entire month. Um, but custom orders will still be the same. So it's just you're restricted to whatever GPUs, CPUs, and mobiles we have on stock. Custom orders will still be the same markup. Everything else will still be at the same markup. But CPUs, GPUs, and mobiles for the entire month of May, don't order yet because I still haven't. It starts May 2 because I need time again to go through the prices and adjust them accordingly. Um, yeah, but so for the whole month of May, we have CPUs, GPUs, and mobiles will be heavily discounted to the point that I don't even know if that makes business economic sense. But I just wanna, yeah, then let's try it out, and we'll see if it does very well. Like, we're selling so much that the volume can make up for the severe discount. Then why not? Why not? Um, why not keep it at those prices, 'di ba? Yun nga, as a proprietor, I'm super open to pricing experiments, stocking experiments, warranty experiments. If it turns out to be good for the shop, bottom line, because so many people end up buying, and we're one of the few shops that don't require bundle. We didn't require it even back during the days of GPU Armageddon, where we were being required by our dealers na, oy, GPU, sobrang hirap makakuha niya na. Kung bibili ka ng GPU sa amin, kailangan ng case, kailangan motherboard, kailangan CPU. It's very, very hard to run the shop, guys. Let me tell you, uh, during GPU pandemic. But we didn't pass that on to you. And again, yun nga, just konting sama ng loob for the people who tell me that I need to learn about customer service. You have no idea the backdrop of stuff that goes on behind the scenes na kinakain na lang namin. And ultimately, all of those decisions come back to me because I'm the one who has to say na, okay, yeah, the shop will eat that cost. Required kami mag-bundle? Let's not do that. I hate bundles. They're anti-consumer. Let's not pass that on to the consumer. Um, yeah, so I do read all of the comments. I don't when I want to reply, sometimes I don't because I feel that maybe it might be, I don't know, it's very, I used to teach write composition, English, literature before. One of my lessons before was that what you lack in written communication is the tone. You can't hear the speaker if he's joking, if he is annoyed, frustrated, amused. And like I had one comment where on one of the monitor review videos, the PG278QDM review, he commented because I was like in the review, a lot of people complain that you should have a glossy finish on an OLED monitor. Glossy is what the our cell phones have versus a lot of the monitors. 98% of monitors out there are matte finish to combat glare. But if you watch certain tech guys, they're like all over the place about, oh, you are an idiot for buying OLED monitors if they're not glossy. But ako naman, if 98% of monitors on the market are matte, that is not useful advice. Then you should buy a TV. But there are certain specs of a TV that are just not found on a monitor. Refresh rates, for one, might be something. Yes, there are some. Yeah, there are some models of TV that are coming up. But generally, if you want to find the specs that you're expecting from a gaming monitor, you still need to get the monitor. The monitor. Monica, are you in chat? The monitor. You do need to get a gaming monitor. So I find that advice that you need to get glossy unhelpful at best, and elitist, kind of like preening at the worst. It's the same kind of people who do like, oh, bottleneck, bottleneck. Super unhelpful advice to a lot of people. And yet, tech experts like saying it because they look tech experty. So I did mention that in the PG27AQ DM video. And then I had a comment saying that, well, I really like, maybe my review, meaning my thoughts on Glossy, were too much because he himself like does really appreciate Glossy over Matt. And I have no problem with that. And so I replied to him. But then he took the reply to like naging like stay humble and stop being defensive. And then like honest to goodness, I was not being defensive. I just wanted to carry on the conversation because I was trying to explain why I thought Glossy versus Matt was not very helpful advice. And then the commenter even turned out that he couldn't even name a monitor that had a glossy finish. The Eve Spectrum would be one, which is what I said in the reply. But I couldn't continue my reply anymore because now I look defensive and stay humble. You stay humble na yan, I don't even know what that means. The way I reply is the same that I've replied since we had 100 subs versus we had 100,000 subs. But now because, there's this context, we have that plaque behind us and whatever. ASUS sends us monitors. Now there's that context, and now I'm being defensive, and I need to stay humble. Yun nga, so a lot of the comments I still want to reply. I still want to reply the same way I used to reply because I feel that's helpful both for the commenter and for me to exchange information. But suddenly it's now like, oh, be humble, stay ano. I mean, it's super annoying. I don't understand what's changed. Yun nga, so like the 60K video where I react to mean comments, I probably couldn't do that anymore. Because yun nga, from the point of view of experimentation, I do like posting stuff. Like, oh, this is how the customer reacted. Was I wrong? And I really do want to solicit feedback. But then a lot of the comments now, depending on the platform where they see it in, don't take it like that as a sincere attempt to engage in communication and to take feedback, but rather it's like, oh, you have a lot to learn about customer experience, and like, I'm like, actually, doon talaga ako nainis na yung mga ganyan na you have a lot to learn about customer experience, how to treat your customer, blah blah blah. On one hand, yes, I understand that I do have a lot to learn. This is why I'm asking, like, did I do the right thing here? But like on the other hand, it's not helpful for me just to be dismissive and say that you have a lot to learn because from a personal point of view, A, I do have a lot to learn, but B, you also don't know how much we've learned over the almost 5 years that we've been running the shop and how much money I've set I've burned because I put the customer first. I'm not ashamed about being candid and frank about that on air because we have burned a lot of money putting the customer experience first. So those kind of comments that, oh, you have a lot to learn and I wouldn't go to the shop. Sorry if actually sorry, not sorry. It's a shame that in my quest to get feedback, it upset you and you feel that we are irredeemable. The faith that God loves most is hope, and everybody is worthy of redemption. Especially, I think people like us who are genuinely, honestly trying to be better. Yeah, see how I did that? The whole faith thing, and then tying it into the shop thing. Props to me, pat on the back. um, but yeah, a lot of the comments were in general, not even about that particular. But yeah, like I'm trying to explain where I'm coming from, and it's nagiging like stay humble. I don't know what stay humble. Like I'm the same guy, man. It's super frustrating. But anyway, yun nga. The theme of this entire thing is that we're super open to experimentation. If they fly off the shelves, and then we have to buy more, and they fly off the shelves, and we have to keep buying more, then that's good for the shop. That's good for the bottom line. So really, everything we do here is in the spirit of we don't know if this works, and it sounds like a stupid business idea, but yeah, let's try it. So yeah, so for the entire month of May, starting May 2, GPUs, CPUs, and mobos will be heavily discounted. So much so, I haven't done the math because I'm a very poor business person, and I tell my students actually, and I tell my staff that I think I like probably like we're still in the red after like almost 5 years, and that's on me. Um, but I'm willing to experiment. I'm happy to try it out. So that's the first big announcement for the entire month of May. On stock GPU, CPUs, and mobos will be heavily discounted for the entire month of May. The second one is that we will also heavily discount the cleaning services for computer for the entire rig CPU cleaning. We will sorry, I just did one of my pet peeves where I called the entire computer CPU. But the entire rig, if you clean it, if you have it cleaned with us, it'll be super discounted. Currently, it's 1,750. Um, I forgot, but I already announced it to some people who asked on Facebook. I forgot if it's 1,000 or 875, so it's 50% discounted. I again, super bad with numbers, super bad business person. I'm announcing a promo. I don't even I don't even quite remember the details of the promo. But yeah, it's either gonna be super discounted like 1,000 or 875 just for me. But if you are a hardware sugar customer, you bought a full rig from us. Your full rig is already 50% discounted if you have it cleaned with us. That's one of our long-standing policies. And again, I from feedback, I guess we really should have a menu of options available, like very clearly seen, like these are the prices that would be charged for these services. Um, so we do listen to the feedback. Uh, which is why the which is the point of why sometimes I post kind of behind the scenes things like that. Um, so I get we can be better in communicating the prices, and I feel that especially for customers, you have a lot of advantages if you stick with us. If you got your rig from us, it's 50% discounted for cleaning. You have candy points. Other stores do have some kind of frequent shopper point, but we're the only ones that allow you to spend it outside of hardware sugar. You can redeem it for Steam points. You can buy hardware from us. You can end up buying games with the points that you receive from us. Again, the only one in the industry that does that. And I don't know if you can feel the kind of frustration and the like approaching anguish and the kind of I'm trying to find a better word for tired, but it's like the kind of chronic uh exhaustion is too strong a word, but really it's the wearying would be the word I'm looking for. The wearying kind of like, oh, this is what we have, and I explain this all the time, and yet we have these people who don't give us the benefit of the doubt and say we need to learn more about customer service, which I completely agree with. But I feel that the sentiment ignores all of the other things that we're doing on a day-to-day basis to make it better for our customers. And that's why that's the kernel of of why I find online communication wearying, because for these guys who get amped up right away and who cancel us right away, they're so easy to go from apathy zero to complete indignation like in 10 seconds, but they have no idea about the background of what we do every day for our customers. And if you tell us that we need to improve, ako pa magpapasalamat because I really do feel we have super daming points that we need to improve on. And the trick is bringing it to our attention so that we can prioritize where we need to improve on. But when you go from zero, from apathy to 100 indignation in the span of 5 seconds in the time that it took to read a post or something, I think that ignores a lot of important context that emphasizes that we do really do a lot for the consumer, for our customers. And it's very wearying from a personal perspective for somebody who has stayed up to 2 a.m. replying to people. We're the only shop na you can expect a reply within 24 hours is our maximum, but we usually reply within like 6 or something. You do that with other stores, di ka papansinin. People text me. One of the numbers that I tie in publicly to the shop is physically with me on my phone. Ako yung nagte-text at 1 in the morning. So yung masabihan na you have a lot to learn about customer service. And again, I'm not even disputing that yes, we do have a lot to learn, but that kind of blanket statement ignores a lot of the effort, not just that I put into, but that Russell, Jay, Gerald, Ken, before us, he's not dead. He's just resigned, and all of the other techs who were with us before. I mean, these guys in the shop who have to deal face to face sometimes with very difficult customers, you don't know. I mean, when I see those kind of comments, you don't know. It's super easy to bang out something on your keyboard and say that you need to learn more. Maybe me, Anton, needs to learn more for sure because I'm the idiot who still solicits public feedback. But these guys in the shop, you can't ask them for anything more. They are super patient. Except for Gerald, who sometimes, is a bit impatient. But he knows that and we're telling him to work on it. Napagalitan nga ako one time because I was doing a live from the shop, may tumawag sa landline, of course, because I'm the only one here. And again, it's on me. We're super hands-on. So I interrupt the live stream so I can take the phone call. And it's a customer who fine. We're not sure it was Gerald, but I'm pretty sure it was Gerald. I'm ano, outing na our staff in a friendly way. This is not a new thing. I've mentioned this a lot of times. We even did a video about it, for God's sake. And in a way, pinagalitan ako ng customer kasi na parang he didn't feel that the staff's response to him was polite. And again, yun nga, it's uh, we try as much as possible to learn from this feedback, but I it just personally irks me, whether it's a kind of blanket statement that you have a lot to learn. Man, no one does it like we do. We do so many things that because that's why we started the shop, me and my brother, because we were super fed up with the customer service of the other shops. Yeah, and then the thing, sige, wag na lang. Save that for the next time. Don't want to sound too bitter. Because like that post, a lot of the comments are like, "Oh, you spent so much time on this." But to be honest, I didn't because I had already formulated the reply via email like months ago. Yun nga, that was not a new thing. But a lot of people, if they see that, it's like, "Oh, you're sitting in such a long time, so sobrang defensive kayo." I don't know why length gets equated with defensiveness. These things we're talking about need context and need explanation. I don't understand why when you go into context, suddenly you're defensive. Again, going back to the comment on the PG27AQDM, and I was trying to explain. Yeah, I wasn't even. I don't. Yeah, I was trying to have a conversation. It was just so frustrating to me that I got slapped with, "Oh, stay humble," and I just meant this, parang ganyan. And I'm like, I completely agree, man. I'm trying to have a conversation with you. I'm not trying to tell you that you're wrong, I'm right. And yun nga, and if if you watch the videos, if you go through the posts, I'm always saying that I'm very open. I could be wrong about a lot of things. Yun nga, if you watch the last live stream, I talked about how sometimes I gaslight myself as a reviewer because I'm always thinking that perhaps I'm the one who's using the product incorrectly. And I'm just trying to have a conversation with you about this particular viewpoint, and suddenly I get slapped with "stay humble." I don't know what that means. I'm just reacting the same way. I'm trying to talk to you like how I would have done if we had 1,000 subs versus 10,000 subs versus 100,000 subs. I'm trying to explain like glossy might be good, but it's not helpful to say so because 98% of the monitors out there are not glossy. And it's not like I'm even telling you that your opinion is wrong because I might agree with you that glossy is correct. But yeah, it's super frustrating, super frustrating. When you have people who are making blanket statements, we want to improve. Please let us know how you want to improve. But if you don't know where the shop is coming from, then you also the comment that you make might not be that helpful, diba? Or when I'm engaging with you on a tech question, and then I'm not trying to browbeat you into submission that my viewpoint is correct. To be honest, because I really don't care. I don't care if you think that I'm correct because I- we all have our different opinions. And yun nga, I say a lot of unpopular opinions. My thing about bottleneck, everybody hates that. Everybody still asks me, "Sir, bottleneck ba to?" And then I give them a long lecture on why you really shouldn't be fixated on bottleneck. I've said it in so many videos. But yun nga, it's like it doesn't click because the the general perspective is like, oh, bottleneck, oh, bottleneck, oh, god damn, man, bottleneck. Um, I do so I say a lot of things that are not popular. Um, and that's okay if you don't agree with me, and that's the beauty of having a genuine conversation. And I'm super open to having my viewpoint, my frame of reference, my opinion changed. But it can't be changed if I'm dismissed right away. That, oh, you have a lot to learn about customer service. Oh, stay humble. How am I going to learn if the comments are dismissive like that? Um, yun nga, I'm teaching again now this semester, but I thought I was in law school. And it's one of the things that I'm proud of. I'm gonna put it out there. A lot of people find law school difficult. They flunk out. I went to a very good law school. I was a full-time law student, but at the same time, as a full-time being a full-time law student, I was part-time faculty in the university. For a lot of people, that is crazy. I need all of the time and attention to study to be a full-time law student. If I'm going to part-time teach, then I'm going to part-time teach and be a part-time law student. Many people can't handle that load. And yeah, and again, I'm not yung I don't have false modesty. Yun nga, the thing na stay humble. When I think that I've done something that is difficult to do, I will say so. And hindi ako, I won't be, in your face like about it, but I will be low key like I know what I did was difficult. So I was teaching part time for 3 years when I was a full time law student. And one of the things that I told all of my students on day one, which is what I tell them also now, is that I don't ask that you think like me. I just ask that you think. I don't care if you have different opinions, viewpoints, frames of reference from me. Let's talk about it. That's why I'm teaching. Actually, that's what I love when people have different viewpoints and we talk about it. But if there are these comments and replies that you have a lot to learn, period, that's it. Parang shut down ka agad. Stay humble. I can't. There's no discourse possible with that kind of comment. Um, and I spent a lot of time talking about it again, not because I'm defensive and it comes across as I'm defensive. It's because I'm trying to explain like why we keep experimenting in the shop, why we keep asking for feedback, why we're doing something crazy like having a blanket discount on CPUs, GPUs, and mobos. Hindi siya flash sale, but for the entire month of May, because we like to experiment, because we like this discourse, because we like to understand what's good for the shop and what's good for the consumer. Hindi siya, again, in law school, the common approach to negotiation is na winner take all. Like, if I take something from you, may nawawala sa'yo na makukuha ko and vice versa. But in negotiations, we're taught that instead of having a finite pie, you can expand the pie. It can be win-win. And that's why we're always trying to experiment so that we can try to find win-win. We can try to find like where we can make a decent living, where the consumers get a good shop with good customer service at a good price. I mean, yun lang naman yun, di ba? We're trying to find a win-win scenario. There is no Kobayashi Maru. I mean, if you've been following the posts also lately, I'm a big Star Trek fan. We don't believe in the no-win scenario. I mean, we can be a cowboy like Captain Kirk, and we can do crazy, stupid shit that none of the other shops will do because we don't believe in the Kobayashi Maru. Um, but it doesn't help anybody if we're faced with these kind of like comments that you have a lot to learn, period. You guys suck, period. Oh, whatever, period. I mean, there's no learning from that. There's no discourse from that. Stay humble. That comes from the that comes from the assumption that I was humble to begin with. And to be honest, I am low key not humble. I mean, I just mean that in the sense that I think we should all take pride when we're doing something well, and we take a lot of pride in what we do here at Hardware Sugar. Yon. So, Arvin Tob, I am not. I am actually Attorney Anton. I have been a lawyer for more than 10 years now. Before we set up the shop, I practiced as a lawyer. So I am a licensed lawyer. I am a active lawyer in the sense that I am allowed to practice because every 3 years you're required to take a certain number of classes to maintain your law license. And I do that, I do maintain that. Sup, Japet, Kenya Floor. I hope you're enjoying your computer. Sorry, this might be against data privacy. Well, anyway, Japet bought something from us. Quite nice. Yes, I am proud of the ROG PG48UQ. Yeah, sorry for going off on a little I wouldn't say rant, but non-interactive conversation. Then the beauty about this kind of setup is that I can I can listen to chat and things like that. I mean I can see the chat in Thank you, Rox. Yeah, I do tend to go off on a very like a non-interactive chats or something like this. Anyway, the announcement is that we will be having a um we will be having a big sale for GPUs, CPUs, and mobiles for the entire month of May, starting May 2. So please do check that out on our website. It will be posted on the website. Shout out Mark P. Yon. So actually, I do still have some back end stuff that I need to do here on the site. Oh shoot, on in the shop. But sorry, last before I go, I did want to. I mentioned we're going to talk about this. Let's talk about it. Tada! This is the 7950X 3D, and this is the X670E ROG Crosshair XE Extreme. Very famous now because Gamers Nexus has a video where he is able to basically throw too much voltage at an X3D CPU. It was the 7800X 3D, but basically the problems I think are with all the X3D 7000 um, chips, and it's specifically this the one that they were able to get it to burn, or the one that got reported on Reddit, was this particular MOBO. So it's going to be super interesting when we do this build, guys. Yeah, we're going to take all the precautions, but will this thing burn up when we turn it on? um and some people might be like, well, why did you recommend that to the customer? It was the customer that wanted this, and then he was like, get me the pinaka high end the motherboard. So we did before all of that came out. But now it's on us. It's on the shop to figure out how to do this build safely. And that's where our expertise and our it'll be fine come into play. But that's why we have been following it quite closely. This motherboard is so heavy. Like this combo, this 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 motherboard, the X670E Crosshair plus this thing, is like almost 100,000. Um, Actually, I think just yeah. Oh, yeah. We'll do a little unboxing. Um. Oh wow! Look at this. Damn. I mean, it's all black. So sexy. ROG. There's this pattern they have here. Then they're gonna have the ROG lights. It's very similar to the ROG Rapture router that they let me keep. I reviewed it. It's like super bonkers router. Oh, and then it has. Oh, I love it when the motherboard. Sorry, this is the first time seeing this, so I'm gushing really, to be honest. It's they have those buttons, and if you're familiar with my old setup, you know that this saved my life. When it has the power button on the motherboard. Wow, this looks, and it of course the a lot of the heat sinks. Modern motherboard design now, they like putting these heat sinks and parang yung armor na tinatawag or whatever na what's this for? Oh, it's a Q latch. I love the Asus Q latch. Sorry, like my tone has become like reverent slash like, oh, I want to touch you. Grabe. God damn it. Wait. I'm gonna try to prop up the monitor. So this is this ROG X670 Crosshair Extreme. Again, something that um a lot of, I mean, it's good to be super critical and that's why we follow the tech news and stuff. But um when big tech channels like Gamers Nexus or Linus, I mean, they just randomly throw out like, oh, that motherboard sucks. And you're talking about like this is like over a 50,000 peso motherboard. Um yes, at least for us, you need to be aware of the issues, but at the same time you also need to appreciate just like the engineering and like the aesthetic and like how effing heavy it is. um yes. So I mean, yeah, okay, it's not very, wow, it is so heavy. Like this is literally the heaviest effing motherboard I've ever. I'm not even lofting it, like, oh my god, definitely heavier than the YouTube black. It is so heavy. Yeah, in a way, again, it's unprofessional that I am in awe of this thing, even though it's been proven. I mean, that's a fact. If you watch GN, that yeah, these things with the improper BIOS might really burn out your hardware, your CPU. Oh my god, oh, so heavy. Oh my god, how many layers is this thing? How many layers? 24. Oh, it even has like it has like a back plate. Oh man, that's why it's so heavy. It has like back plate on the back. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is oh, it's very heavy. Let's not do it. Okay, I'm not gonna do a Linus and drop the thing because this actually belongs to a customer already. This has been paid for. Man, it looks so sports car black aesthetic na ano na parang it's so sleek. I wanna I wanna assemble it already. What is the hold up? Did we? I think we're waiting for the customer's case or something. Very nice looking motherboard. All right. So impromptu unboxing. Actually, I just meant to open it, but then I was like, no, I need to open it all the way. Although that that desire to open things that or to go all the way and open things that maybe should weren't meant to be opened up all the way can get you in trouble sometimes. I'm just going through the box now. What a beautiful motherboard. It's ridiculous. Oh, because I with my get in there. With my setup now, I'm using a Thermaltake Core P3, so it is open test bench setup like that one. So I see my Mobo a lot. I use a Gigabyte Ultra Durable X570S, I think, which we have on stock, which will be on discount tomorrow. Oh, it also comes with a screwdriver. Who needs LTT when ROG gives you a ano? I'm gonna tell the customer na ano, he won't know. Na wala na lang to. Wow. Ano to? Everything here is so heavy. Oh, it's like the additional for M.2 USB pa. What do you need a USB for? This one. What this one? Oh, it's the hub. It's like for the fans and the RGB and stuff. RGB fans. Okay. I feel a little bit like this is illicit. Like I shouldn't be poking around. Actually, actually we're also good friends with this customer, and I'm sure he wouldn't mind. But it's like one last box just for ano. Oh, here. What's behind door number? It's just the manuals and things. Oh, there's more stuff under there. Okay. What a beautiful motherboard. What a heavy motherboard. Crap. How did we? Do we remember how to put this back? Oh, shoot. A lot of the times we do unboxings, I have to rewatch the unboxing to figure out how to put the package back. I am not the sharpest tool in the shed. Beautiful motherboard. We do have a video explaining the difference between the X670 and the X670E. Sorry there, because that is a thing. Um, yes, Leah Magnaya. He's gonna do the Arctic 480 or 420. Basta the largest na Arctic. It's back there already actually. Um, yun. So, thank you, Jower. Yeah, sorry, I'm just gonna jump to Jowers. See, that is another thing that we do that I feel like doesn't get noticed enough. Um, so we run a discount service. We run a second part service. We don't buy it from you, but basically you give it to us on consignment. So we have the visibility. We mentioned it in the videos and things like that. They have to go to the shop, so it's much easier for the owner and the buyer. Instead of the owner and the buyer having to text each other randomly and the owner being subjected to so many inquiries, he just leaves the hardware with us. It gets picked up in the shop, and then we send him the money. And how much do we earn from this? Zero. In fact, negative pa because our staff need to do the back end. We need to keep track of the payments, the hardware, sending the payments and things like that, exchanging the contact info. So actually it's a burden pa on the shop. But because we believe in reusability and sustainability and the fact that second-hand hardware can be very cost effective, um we do it. And again, it's another thing that we do that nobody else does. And I guess we do have a lot to learn about customer service because ang dami talaga namin ginagawa na hindi ginagawa ng iba. All right. So Anton. How many Antons watch Anton? All right, thanks guys. It's already past 12. I do need to do some back end stuff here. Thanks so much for watching. Spread the word. Spread the word, please. Tell people. Tell your friends. Now is the time to buy stuff from us because we will have a massive discount starting tomorrow, May 2, on GPUs, CPUs, and motherboards for the entire month of May, as long as supplies last. Yon. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. You have no idea how much it means to everyone here, myself especially. Enjoy the long weekend, the last day of the long weekend. Stay safe. Have a good day. See ya.